I paid $14,000 to fly my family to my graduation. They win a Greece instead. You're not even a real doctor, my uncle posted, so I sent them that degree with the invoice. 3 hours later, my mom was calling non-stop. But I had already done something they didn't expect. You're not a real doctor, my uncle wrote in the comments. Just that? No congrats, no I'm oh geez, no well done, just those 5 words under the photo I posted from the ceremony. My robe was still wrinkled, my hair looked like I'd fought wind and lost. But I never felt prouder, not when I got accepted, not when I passports, not even when I delivered my first diagnosis without a supervisor over my shoulder. That photo was the me. I let myself exhale. I'd made it in. They spat on it. It started with the tickets. I spent $14,000. Yes, for zeros, flying them in business class because mom's back couldn't handle coach and dad deserved some comfort after everything he'd done for me. I didn't argue. I just paid, even printed their itineraries on nice paper and tucked them into gift envelopes. Your flight leaves the 4th. I told them commencement is the 6th. Dinner's on me after. Don't be late. They're reading my name early. Mom clapped. Dad nodded. Emma, my sister, asked if she could bring her boyfriend. I said yes. They never got on the plane. 3 hours before their flight, I got a text from him. We're not gonna make it. Something came up. I'll explain later. Love you. That was it. I spent my graduation scanning every face in the crowd except the one I wanted to see. I kept glancing at the reserve row empty. I had to keep smiling for the cameras. I shook hands, got my diploma, took the group shot alone. It wasn't until I checked Facebook that I realized what came up actually met there. They were mom, dad, and Emma standing in front of a white chapel on a cliff, turquoise water stretching behind them like a postcard. The caption read, "Dreams come true and Santorini family time is the best time." No mention of me, no apology, just champagne flutes, sun hats, and comments from relatives like, "So deserved. Greece looks good on you, girl. Where's Dr. Nephew, my uncle giant? And he's not a real doctor." That comment, that's what broke me. Not the missed flight, not the money, not the empty seat to graduation. Those 5 words. Because I paid for every single thing in a tree. Me, like I was optional. So I did the one thing they didn't expect. I sent them a high-res scan of a diploma. In right underneath it, I attached a copy of the flight invoice labeled paid. And for then I turned off my phone. 3 hours later, my mom was calling non-stop. But by then I had already done something worse. I didn't block her, not yet. I wanted to see how long it would take before she said what she really meant. The first voicemail was all fake tears. "Sweetheart, we didn't think you'd might. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And you've always been so independent." The second was sharper. "You're being dramatic. You don't understand how stressful things have been lately." By the third, she drew up the act completely. "You didn't even go to med school. It was just some online program, right? Don't pretend this is Harvard." That's when I blocked her and Emma and my dad. But I wasn't done listening. I went back to the Facebook post, refreshed at my uncle's comment. "You're not a real doctor" had racked up 37 likes. I recognize that names at Margie cousin. Look, even my godfather, who once gave me a stethoscope for my 12th birthday with a card that read, "For our future Dr. James." I stared at it, and I started saving screenshots, not out of spite, out of strategy. 2 days later, I got a DM from my cousin Sarah. She's the only one who ever had a shred of him. "Ruthie, hey, I don't agree with what they did. Just so you know, your mom told everyone you cancel the graduation, said it wasn't happening. I only found out when you posted the pics. Oh, so now I was a villain." I asked her one thing, just one. Did they really say that? Sarah didn't respond in words. She sent me a screenshot of the family, the group chat. My mom, "Well, James made it clear we weren't invited, said it would be awkward, and that he'd rather celebrate with his real France." Then my dad let him sock. "Greece is better than sitting through another lecture about his doctor stuff." Emma, LOL, he's probably diagnosing himself with abandonment issues. I stared at this screen until my vision blurred. Then I went to my Dropbox, opened a folder titled Family Receipts, and added the screenshot, because here's what they conveniently forgot. I'd paid for everything in December alone. I sent my parents $2,500. They said it was for the Heating bill 2 days later, Emma posted a story. And a ski resort spa. Self-care matters #grateful. Last spring, I covered the down payment for Dad's new car. He said the dealership was giving him trouble. He forgot I have access to the joint account. The charge was processed at a Rolex store. The breaking point when I paid for him is emergency dental surgery, she told me. She was in pain. Couldn't you beg me to help? A wired $1,800 within the 2 weeks later, she posted a selfie from making us bright teeth, frozen cocktail, caption white smiles and white wine. So I started collecting every bank transfer, every zone memo, every thank you text that turned into a guilt trip days later. Every time they cried, purred and bragged online, I kept thinking maybe I'm the crazy one. But then I found something that killed that thought forever. It was an accident. I was cleaning out my old laptop, the one I used during rotations, and found a backup file labeled GROD 2024. I clicked it expecting old flashcards. Instead, I found audio recordings. You see, I've recorded some of my calls with my parents while I was studying, not on purpose. I used a call recorder app to track my study sessions, and sometimes forgot to turn it off. One file stood out. It was dated March 3rd, the day I bought their graduation tickets. I hit play. My voice. So I've sent you the confirmation email. You should see the flight to Boston on the 4th. Hotels booked under my name. Mom's voice. Sweetie, that's a lot. Are you sure you want to spend that much? Dad, let the boy do it. He's got doc. Germany. No, right? Laughter. Emma, well, if he's really a doctor, not like one of those Zoom degrees. Laughter. Then the worst part, my dad again. He thinks we'll show up the clamp like seals. He doesn't realize he's just our retirement plan. The audio ended there. I sat in my chair completely still. Then I added the file to the folder, named it Not a Real Doctor. MP3. That night I made a plan, not revenge, revelation, because if they wanted to treat me like a bank in a lab coat, then it was time for them to deal with the consequences. And I hadn't even sent the final invoice yet. Graduation dinner was supposed to be a celebration, but instead it became an ambush. I had made the reservation weeks in advance, private room, good lighting, custom menu, or even prepaid the deposit to make sure there were no last-minute excuses. They did no, I'd still both it, and they definitely had no idea who else I'd invited. I walked in, first press shirt, black suit, calm face, the kind of calm that comes before the tornado sirens. The restaurant manager led me to the room, then came the others. First my mother, in pearls and perfume, walking like the queen of denial, then Dad faking a limb for sympathy, him a trail behind, too busy on her phone to notice the extra play settings. They didn't see the projector. Yet they didn't ask when we sat down. Mom opened the performance. We're so proud of you, sweetie. Sorry we couldn't be there for the ceremony, but Greece was once in a lifetime. Dad added, we raised the doctor even if Facebook doesn't understand it. He smirked. Emma snorted into her wine. Then the door opened again. Uncle Thomas walked in. You know, you're not a real doctor, Uncle Thomas. He looked confused. I thought this was family only. I smiled. Exactly then. I stood up and want to thank you all for coming, I said, clicking the remote. The screen behind me lit up. First slide. This is what family looks like when you're the ATN. I let the silence brief. I blinked. Mom reached for her water, dead stared at the screen like it was a threat. Next slide. Screenshots. Every transfer, every just until Friday, every guilt text, every fake emergency, every video request labeled emergency place, then audio. I hit play. Dad, he doesn't realize he's just a retirement plan. Emma, well, if he's really a doctor, not like one of those Zoom degrees. Mom, he always was too sensitive. They'll pay. The always pays. The room was silent. Emma looked like she was about to vomit. Mom's hand trembled as she reached for her clutch. Then came the final video. I had clipped together their Facebook post. The sound or any slideshow layered over my empty graduation row. At the end, a copy of the plane tickets, $14,206.32 paid, and for passenger names, all three of them, destination nowhere. Then I looked at Uncle Thomas. You said I wasn't a real doctor. Here to revise that now. He turned red. It was just a joke, kid. Funny. Didn't feel like a joke when it got 37 likes. Then I turned to the rest. You all pretended I was family only when it was convenient. You wanted a bank, not a brother, not a son. I pulled out a folder, opened it. Inside copies of the tax returns. I filed for them. Credit statements. I paid a notarized letter transferring to house deed back to me, because yes, the house him lived in, I bought it 3 years ago under my name. They just been pretending it was theirs. Them's voice cracked. You said it was a gift. I looked dead in the eyes, and you treated it like garbage. So now it's not. Mom tried to stand. Sweetheart, we didn't mean it. But I was already speaking of file to evict. You get the letter by Monday. You'll also find your accounts frozen, the ones connected to my name. The car lease cancelled, the shared credit card terminated, the utilities updated. You'll need a new billing. Last that slammed his fist on the table. You're ruining this family. No, I said you ruined it when you chose Greece over me. That's when the final guest entered. Professor Morales, my mentor for med school, who had driven 2 hours to be there. He walked up to the table, shook my hand, and turned to my family. I was there when he pulled his first night shift, when he saw date of 3 days in a row for his boards. He saved a life before most of you finished breakfast. I watched him become a doctor while you treated him like a wallet. Then he added, looking at that, you didn't raise a doctor, you abandoned one. And he walked out. I stood up, closed the laptop, and tucked the project remote into my coat pocket. This dinner's paid for. That's my last gift to you. And then I walked out, not in anger, not in tears, but in power. I didn't hear from them for 48 hours. No calls, no texts, just a deep, eerie silence. But on the third day it exploded. Mom went first. The queen of curated chaos. She posted a 6-paragraph Facebook status with a black and white photo of me from high school. He used to be such a kind boy. We raised him with love. But money changes people. It blinds them. My heart breaks for our broken family. For 100 likes, 36 comments, crying face emerges. Distant relatives asking what happened. Others chiming in. Kids these days are so selfish. Then came the text from Emma, just one line. You'll regret this. Funny how people think you flinch after you've already burned a bridge behind you. The eviction notice landed on their doorstep Monday morning, just as promised. Signed, sealed, official. Them posted a crying self. He an hour later with a vague caption. Some people destroy everything just to feel powerful. But Karma remembers. I didn't comment. I just smiled because Karma was already unpacking her bags. That same afternoon, the hospital board I'd recently joined released their quarterly highlights. My name was there. Dr. James WMD, Resident Liaison, Patient Safety Task Force. The post blew up. Professional congratulations messages from med school peers. Even my old high school biology teacher commented, you always had it in you. Proud of you, doc. The best part, my family was tagged. And the original post publicly by accident or by design, who knows. But now their timeline was flooded with praise. People they lied to her, now praising the varied, not a real doctor. That humor it. And then came the invoice. No, not just the symbolic one I emailed after graduation. I mean the real one. I hired a lawyer, Adam, calculate down to the cent the money I'd given them in the past 4 years. Loans, gifts, emergencies, unpaid credit cards. It totaled $2,387.19 since I attached it to an official demand letter, not for repayment. I didn't want to die, but for closure. The message was simple. This is what it cost me to be your family. You won't get another, said. Demo posted a story 5 minutes after it arrived. Imagine keeping receipts for laugh. I replied, for the first and last time. Imagine selling love like it's an ab and be rental and centering. She blocked me. But it didn't. In there the story began to spread, not because I told it, but because they couldn't stop spinning it. They told neighbors I turned into a monster, that I was unstable, that the doctor thing went to his head. So I responded, not with rage, with evidence I can. He added a private block, just one post titled The Price of Family, an Autopsy. I laid it all out, the fake emergencies, the graduation betrayal screenshots, audio bank transfers, even the picture of them on the sand or any cliff smiling like they hadn't missed the biggest moment of my life. I didn't name them. I didn't insult them. I simply told the truth. And I ended it with this: if this makes me heartless, so be it. If setting boundaries is betrayal, so be it. If being used and finally saying enough makes me the villain, then I hope I make a great one. I didn't post it publicly, but someone did. It got shared and suddenly people stop messaging me. Strangers, classmates, even reporters. A podcast invited me to talk about toxic family dynamics. A wellness blog. We posted my story under the headline, "When saying no is the bravest thing a doctor can do." Then a local paper reached out for an interview. Headline: from a bad and graduate medical advice. Get one doctor story, and guess what? They printed it front page with a picture of me holding my degree standing beside an empty row of reserved chairs. The photo went viral 3 days later. I got a call from Dad, block number. I answered out of curiosity. He didn't say hello, just "you made your point. Happy now?" I didn't respond. He kept going, "Your mother's not eating him as a mess. He humiliated us." Then the real reason. People at the golf club or asking questions in there. It was not guilty, not love, reputation. So I ended the call with a single sentence: "Don't worry that you'll always have Santa, Rainy." Then I hung up. A week later, I moved, not just to a new apartment, to a new life. I bought a townhouse under a different name, no forwarding address, new phone number. But before I disappeared for good, I left one last thing in their mailbox: a framed copy of my degree below it. A sticky note: "Real doctor, real done." I never looked back. 6 months later, I changed my name, not legally, not on paper, but everywhere else it mattered. New phone plan, new email, new delivery address, all tied to a new alias. To the people who mattered, I was Dr. James Wells. The rest, I was nobody in. I was perfect. The townhouse I bought, quiet to stories, hardwood floors, a Japanese maple in the backyard that turned blood red in October. The kind of peace you don't appreciate until you've spent 29 years drowning in obligation. I didn't decorate much, minimalist, clean, no family portraits, no nostalgia. Just framed degrees, medical textbooks, and a coffee maker I loved more than half my bloodline. My days became sacred. Wake up, run 5 miles, work, patients, killing people who said thank you, and minute, come home, silence, peace. No calls begging for money, no text saying, "Can we just talk?" No threats hit behind him. Oh geez, no guilt package and holiday cards, just me alive, untouched. But the past has a funny way of knocking, even when you've slammed the door shut. It was a Tuesday when the email came. Anonymous, center subject line: "You might want to see this." Attached a screenshot of a GoFundMe page created by Emma. Title: "Help our family here from the past." The photo was an old one, all of us at a barbecue back when I was still naive enough to think that love me for me. The description said I'd abandoned them, that I used money as a weapon, that I'd hacked into family accounts and left them homeless. They were asking for $50,000 a check. The donations $12,647 already raised. Dozens of comments like, "So sorry you're going through this, sending prayers, money doesn't make you better, sweetie." In one from Uncle Thomas: "Always knew he had issues, keep your head up." I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just poured coffee, sat down, and logged into an old folder labeled Truth folder. Inside, the full audio of Dad laughing about using me, the screenshot of him, a spot trip dated 2 days after the dental emergency, the receipts for every gift that turned out to be lie, and the voicemail from Mom, the one where she said, "Honestly, we just thought you'd keep, hey, that's what family does." I uploaded everything, created a site, simple black background, no flashy design. Title: "Since you wanted the story, here's the full one." Then I added a note at the top: "This is not revenge, this is reality. I'm not fundraising. I'm not begging. I'm not hiding. I'm just done." I posted the link in one place only, under him as "Go on me," as a $1 donation message. The doctor's still not real. Enjoy the receipts. By noon, the GoFundMe was locked. By 3 p.m., the page was deleted. By 6 a.m., his Instagram had gone private. And at 9 p.m. sharp, my phone buzzed. New number, local code, probably a burner. I picked up. Silence. Then: "Why are you doing this to us?" My mother, same voice, different tone. Then weak, desperate. I sip my coffee, let her speak. "You already left. Why can't you just forget what ago? I finally spoke. You made me the villain. So now I'm giving you the ending you wrote. She started crying. We didn't think you'd really leave well, I said. The doctors perform amputation. Sometimes the only way to survive is to cut off what's infected. And I hung up for the last time. It's been a year now. The house that last renovated it to a family of 5 who actually values things. Sometimes I drive by it just for the poetry. They put a blue mailbox out front, a kind. My mother always said look cheap, it fits the place better. Now as for me, I built something better, a new foundation. Not just a career, a legacy. I launched a medical podcast, named it Real Doctor Real Life. The tagline, because some stories don't come with applause. First episode. I sent them the degree. In the invoice it hit 1 million plays in 3 days. I donated the first $14,000 and ad revenue to a scholarship fund. Named it after my grandfather, the only person who never asked for anything in return. The scholarship strict requirement. No applications from family members. Last week, I got a letter in the mail, no return address inside. They caught cheap glossy, the kind from a gas station. The message inside said, "We miss you," and I smiled, walked outside with the card on fire, watched it burn in the steel dish on my patio flame, licking the edges like it was hungry for closure. Then I walk back inside, closed the sliding door, and she